The world is awash in wealth, yet millions still go hungry every day. This paradox is not just a fleeting observation, but a persistent reality that affects countless lives across the globe. From the bustling streets of affluent cities to the desolate corners of impoverished regions, the disparity is stark and undeniable. This stark contrast, this glaring paradox, begs the question, why? Why do we see such opulence on one hand and such dire need on the other? The images of lavish feasts, juxtaposed with the meager meals of children in refugee camps, are not just scenes from a distant world, they are a call to action, a plea for understanding and change. Why, in an age of unprecedented wealth and technological advancement, does hunger persist? We have the means to produce more food than ever before, yet the distribution remains grossly unequal. High-tech farming equipment and modern agricultural practices have revolutionized food production, but the benefits are not reaching everyone. The answer, unfortunately, is not simple. It's a complex interplay of various factors that create a tangled web of challenges. Economic disparity, political roadblocks, and systemic failures all contribute to the persistence of hunger. The thoughtful gaze out of a window, the layers of economic charts, and the heated debates in parliaments around the world all point to the multifaceted nature of this issue. It's a tangled web of economic disparity, political roadblocks, and systemic failures. Impoverished communities struggle to break free from the cycle of poverty, while political rallies and protests highlight the urgent need for change. Economic crises exacerbate the situation, making it even harder for those in need to access basic necessities. We live in a world where a select few possess more wealth than entire nations. The sight of luxury yachts and private jets starkly contrasts with the reality of impoverished villages and slum areas. This concentration of wealth in the hands of a few individuals raises critical questions about the distribution of resources and the moral responsibilities of the wealthy. Billionaires, with fortunes exceeding the GDP of many countries, hold the power to enact phenomenal change. Their influence extends beyond their businesses, reaching into the realms of politics and philanthropy. Large-scale charity events and economic summit meetings showcase their potential to make a difference, yet the impact on world hunger remains limited. Yet the problem of world hunger persists, a constant reminder of the deep-seated inequalities that plague our planet. Homeless people sleeping on the streets and malnourished children in conflict zones are stark reminders of the urgent need for action. The juxtaposition of wealth and poverty is not just a visual contrast but a moral dilemma that demands our attention. This isn't just a matter of lacking resources, it's a complex issue with roots in poverty, conflict, and a lack of access to basic necessities. War-torn areas and families living in poverty face daily struggles that go beyond mere hunger. Access to clean water, education, and healthcare are all intertwined with the issue of food security. This essay delves into the multifaceted issue of world hunger, exploring why it persists despite the immense wealth concentrated in the hands of a few. We will look at the roles of billionaires, governments, and global institutions in addressing this crisis. The global economic charts and humanitarian aid efforts in developing countries provide a backdrop for understanding the scale and complexity of the problem. We will examine the roles of billionaires, governments, and global institutions, analyzing the challenges and proposing potential solutions to this pressing global issue. Government buildings and international organization meetings are where policies are crafted, and brainstorming sessions on hunger solutions are where innovative ideas are born. These efforts, however, must be coordinated and sustained to make a lasting impact. Our journey takes us beyond simplistic narratives, urging a deeper understanding of the complexities that perpetuate hunger in a world of plenty. Footage of diverse communities working together and interviews with experts on global hunger highlight the collaborative efforts needed to address this issue. People distributing food aid in crisis areas remind us that while immediate relief is essential, long-term solutions are equally crucial. Together, we can strive to create a world where abundance is shared and no one goes hungry. To grasp the sheer scale of wealth concentrated at the top, consider this. The world's 10 richest individuals possess a combined net worth exceeding the GDP of most African nations. This isn't just a statistic, it's a reflection of the vast economic disparity that exists in our world today. The wealth of these individuals is so immense that it can be difficult to comprehend. Imagine the resources and opportunities that could be unlocked if even a fraction of this wealth were redirected towards global development and poverty alleviation. In a world where a single individual can amass such wealth, The fact that millions still struggle to afford a daily meal is a stark indictment of our priorities. The contrast between the opulence of the few and the deprivation of the many is a glaring example of systemic inequality. While some dine in luxury, others are left to scavenge for scraps. This disparity is not just a failure of policy, but a moral failing that calls into question the very fabric of our society. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, Bernard Arnault. These names dominate headlines, their fortunes growing exponentially. They are often celebrated as self-made titans of industry, but their wealth accumulation is also a testament to the structural advantages and opportunities that have been available to them. Their stories are frequently highlighted as examples of success, yet they also underscore the growing chasm between the ultra-wealthy and the rest of society. Their combined wealth could potentially solve world hunger multiple times over. The resources they control are so vast that they could fund universal education, healthcare, and clean water initiatives globally. Yet, these possibilities remain largely theoretical, as the wealth continues to be concentrated in the hands of a few. The potential for positive impact is enormous, but the will to redistribute this wealth is often lacking. Yet the problem persists, highlighting a disconnect between the accumulation of wealth and its potential for positive impact. The luxury lifestyles of the wealthy are often juxtaposed with the harsh realities faced by those in poverty, creating a stark visual representation of inequality. This disconnect is not just about money, it's about the missed opportunities for creating a more equitable world. It's not just about the numbers, it's about what those numbers represent. Each dollar in a billionaire's account is a symbol of potential that could be used to address some of the world's most pressing issues. The accumulation of wealth in such vast quantities raises questions about the values and priorities of our global economic system. Every dollar hoarded in a billionaire's offshore account is a dollar not invested in education, healthcare, or sustainable agriculture. These are the areas that can drive long-term, sustainable development and improve the quality of life for millions. The choice to hoard wealth rather than invest it in these critical areas is a choice that has far-reaching consequences. It's a dollar not spent on lifting communities out of poverty, empowering them to become self-sufficient. Investments in community development and sustainable agriculture can create jobs, improve food security, and foster economic independence. Microfinance initiatives can provide the capital needed for small businesses to thrive, creating a ripple effect of positive change. The staggering wealth gap isn't just a statistic, it's a moral crisis demanding attention. The juxtaposition of wealth and poverty within close proximity highlights the urgent need for systemic change. Protests against economic inequality are a call to action, urging us to rethink our economic systems and prioritize the well-being of all individuals. The emotional toll on those affected by poverty is profound, and addressing this issue is not just an economic imperative but a moral one as well. Attributing world hunger solely to a lack of money is overly simplistic. It ignores the intricate web of interconnected factors that perpetuate this global crisis. Political instability, for instance, fuels conflict, disrupts supply chains, and hinders aid distribution. Corrupt governments and inefficient infrastructure exacerbate the problem, siphoning off resources intended for the needy. War-torn regions, ravaged by violence and displacement, become breeding grounds for famine and malnutrition. These factors, deeply entrenched and interconnected, highlight the need for solutions that go beyond mere financial aid. Addressing world hunger requires a multi-pronged approach, one that tackles the root causes rather than just the symptoms. It demands a shift in focus from short-term charity to long-term sustainable solutions. This includes investing in agricultural infrastructure, promoting education and gender equality, and fostering peace and stability in conflict zones. While individual philanthropy can play a role, the onus of solving world hunger ultimately lies with governments. Philanthropic efforts, though noble and impactful on a smaller scale, cannot match the extensive reach and resources that governments possess. These efforts can serve as a catalyst, but they are not a substitute for systemic change. Governments possess the resources, infrastructure, and legislative power to enact systemic change. They have the ability to mobilize large-scale resources, implement policies that can affect millions, and create an environment where sustainable solutions can thrive. This includes not only financial resources but also human capital and technological advancements. This includes investing in social safety nets, promoting fair trade policies, and ensuring that markets are accessible and fair for all. Social safety nets can provide immediate relief to those in need, while fair trade policies can ensure that farmers and producers receive a fair price for their goods, promoting economic stability and growth. Tackling climate change is also crucial, as it is a major driver of food insecurity. Climate change affects agricultural productivity, water availability, and the frequency of extreme weather events, all of which can lead to food shortages. Governments must invest in sustainable agricultural practices, renewable energy, and climate resilience to mitigate these impacts. Governments must prioritize food security as a national and international objective. This requires political will, effective policymaking, and a commitment to long-term strategies. Food security should be integrated into national development plans, with clear targets and accountability mechanisms to ensure progress. International cooperation is also essential. No single country can solve the issue of world hunger alone. Collaborative efforts, sharing of best practices, and coordinated actions can amplify the impact of individual initiatives. This includes partnerships with international organizations, non-governmental organizations, and the private sector. The Sustainable Development Goals, adopted by the United Nations, provide a roadmap for a more just and equitable world, with ending hunger as a central aim. These goals highlight the interconnectedness of various issues such as poverty, health, education, and climate change, and emphasize the need for a holistic approach. Ending hunger requires a multifaceted approach, including improving agricultural productivity, enhancing food distribution systems, and ensuring access to nutritious food for all. Community food programs and school meal initiatives can play a significant role in providing immediate relief and long-term benefits. However, political will alone is not enough. It needs to translate into concrete actions and measurable outcomes. Advocacy and activism can help keep the pressure on governments to fulfill their commitments and hold them accountable. Concrete actions include increased foreign aid directed towards agricultural development, investments in rural infrastructure, and support for smallholder farmers. These actions can help build resilient food systems and reduce dependency on external aid. Investments in rural infrastructure such as roads, irrigation systems, and storage facilities can enhance agricultural productivity and market access. These investments can also create jobs and stimulate economic growth in rural areas. Support for smallholder farmers, particularly women, is crucial. Women play a vital role in food production and often face additional challenges, such as limited access to resources, training, and markets. Empowering women farmers can lead to significant improvements in food security and community well-being. Women farmers contribute significantly to local food systems and economies. Providing them with the necessary support, such as access to credit, training, and technology, can enhance their productivity and livelihoods. Governments must also address issues like land grabbing, which displaces communities and disrupts local food systems. Ensuring secure land tenure and protecting the rights of smallholder farmers are essential for sustainable development. Unfair trade practices that disadvantage developing countries must be reformed. This includes addressing trade barriers, subsidies, and tariffs that distort markets and undermine the competitiveness of farmers in developing countries. Fair trade practices can promote equity and sustainability in global food systems.